What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for a live show on the start of the week. The week before, or no, not the week. Actually, the week when the Euro starts on Friday. So kind of the expectation is that the news will. It's already slow, but it will be even slower. I think starting from Friday from the first game, Germany play, I think, Scotland. But we'll talk about
Yeah.
a bit about the Euros towards the end of the show. But with me is Norbert, as always. How are you doing on a quiet Monday?
Yeah. Hey, I'm doing well. Yeah, quiet you say, but still lots of news are trickling in by the end of the day. News about tech, news about Di Lorenzo, Sancho, even crazy stories and stuff. So yeah, let's talk about what's the main topic.
There is some news, but like um, the news is not as solid as you would kind of hope for at this moment in time. It's more little rumors here and there, and for some reason I lost you. So let me try to bring you in again. Let me see. No, people can hear you, I think. Give me a sec. But yeah, the news is not as, how do you want to say, as solid as you kind of hope for, in my opinion. If I would hope for, and yeah, you need to jump in and out again. You need to jump in and out again. But the news is not solid. The news is a bit, a bit of leaks here and there. It's a bit of frustrating news. It's more of uh, confirmation about the players we already won to sign. Only with some little updates on the price, on the transfer fee, on contracts, on talks, on when talks will take place, but nothing really new. Besides some weird stories we're gonna talk about. The main one is Calafiori, and I'm gonna wait until Norbert is back so people hit the like button. But Calafiori is obviously the main target for the club. If it's not Colt Miners, if it's not Di Gregorio, then Calafiori is definitely the main target for the club. And a deal, I think everybody, me included, was expecting to be done. Okay, not officially announced before the Euros, but kind of, a here we go before the Euros, where you're like, okay, it's a done deal for Calafiori. We're just waiting until he comes back from the Euros and signs that deal. Now, from now, or like not from now, from let's say the last week of May until now, the Calafiori story is more on the background because I think everybody has a feeling that it's gonna get done. Everybody has a belief that at one point Calafiori is gonna sign for the club, and everything is relaxed. Everybody is chilled. The club is moving. Um, the club is moving quite, how do you want to say it, quite cautious. I'm gonna say, playing the waiting game. But if you need to believe the media, the price for Calafiori is skyrocketing. It's going from 25 to 25 plus bonuses to 30 plus a player to 50 million euros at this moment in time that people want that Bologna want for Calafiori, which you're not gonna get. They're not gonna get that from us. They might get that from, I don't know, a Premier League club. They might get that from Bayern Munich. I don't know, but they're definitely not getting 50 million euros from us this season because. Okay, they definitely will not. They definitely will not do that again. They will definitely not get 50 million euros from us because um, we don't have 50 million euros. That's one. And also, even if we have 50 million euros, we're not gonna spend 50 million euros on Calafiori this summer. It's just not gonna happen. Even though he is a key player or a potential key player for us, for Motta, because we need him. Thiago Motta needs him. 50 million euros is not something that we're not gonna pay. That's one. And two, the source of the story is also important. It's Corriere dello Sport, and Corriere dello Sport, ever since Allegri left, and especially the way he left, the stories coming out from the Corriere dello Sport are next level. They are next level. They're crazy. They are exaggerating. You know, it could be Calafiori, it could be quote miners, it could be, I don't know, linked to Douglas Luiz. It can be linked to any player at this moment in time. If a player is worth 25, um, Corriere dello Sport will make sure they will quote him at 50 million euros because that's how they operate right now. That's how hurt Sazzaroni is, because he was well connected to Allegri. He was a big advocate for Allegri to stay. That, you know, he was persistent with the idea that Allegri was doing a fantastic job. And ever since he left, the links have been the same as all other medias, but the only twist is they're putting, you know, like the Thiago Motta story from, was it a week or two ago, where the news story was that they wanted, you know, or Thiago Motta wanted a new deal or like a better deal. He wanted that player, he wanted this player, he wanted more money, and then it turned out to be completely fake. It turned out to be BS, and that's kind of the same with Calafiori. Now, the first quoted price from Calafiori, 25 million, I think it's low, you know, because I think a club like Bologna in this position, with the season Calafiori had, can command more money. So I don't believe we're going to get him for 25. But I also don't think we're going to get him for 50 million euros, because if that's the price, we're gone. Even if that needs to be included a player,
Yeah.
25 plus a player, the club is not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So the story is what it is. I don't believe it, you know. I think it's Corriere dello Sport being quite hurt about the situation at the club right now. But yeah, 50 million euros is a new price, apparently, according to Corriere dello Sport. The question is in the chat for the people: how much do you think he's worth, Calafiori? And you don't need to say 20 plus a player, just valuation, even if that's included player, money wise. How much do you think Calafiori is worth? Because a regular watcher on this show is not calling you out, Dow Jones. He said that he's basically the same as Gatti yesterday's live, and we don't rate
Wow.
Gatti. We don't rate Gatti. So how much do you think we should be paying for Calafiori, Norbert?
Wow. It's a hard question because I feel like we really need him, but we're also a big club and we cannot get played with or toyed with how Bologna is doing. If this is true, yeah, I think the 30 mil is realistic. 35 max. We should really not pay more. Um, and yeah, it's just nothing is happening regarding that business, and it's really annoying. Um, as I think predicted that he would be here by now last week.
You did. I told you.
Yeah,
Not gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, 30, 35. I think we should really not go higher. Or because the problem is Bologna or Basel rather owns 50%
That's
of
Bologna's
the
problem. That's not
thing.
ours. That's not our problem. You know.
Yeah, it is. But Bologna wants like a 25 mil, I guess, right, for him. And if it's 50, then if we pay 30, if it's 50% and we pay 30, that's not going to be that high. I know it's their problem, but they try to haggle us.
We're not gonna pay 50 million euros. It's just
Yeah,
never gonna
no
happen.
way.
It's never gonna happen. You know. I will read out the chat. 35 on OnlyFans saying this 50 million story is fake. I 100% agree. Did you see Berardi talking about wanting to join Juve? I didn't. Probably fake as well, I think. He thinks Motta will help him grow. He's pushing 30. Probably fake story out there. I don't think he's going to be that open talking about he wants to join Juve. 35, 32, that's very specific. Julian saying Calafiori is worth 40 million. without English tax, inflation, without players involved. 22-year-old, excuse me, well-rounded, intelligent defender, now internationally capped as well. Um, Grant Jackson saying he's, he's Italian 35, if English 75.80. Well, specific, but I kind of leaning towards what Julian is saying. If Bologna are commanding something close to 40 million, I don't think they're pushing it because they know there's interest from the Premier League. Now, what is going to
Yeah,
make the difference is Calafiori saying, I don't want to join the Premier League, like Locatelli did at times, back in the day. And that's going to make the difference. That's going to force Genoa. That's going to force Bologna into dealing with Juve, and finding some sort of agreement. I think an agreement will be found, but it's probably going to be with including a player in the deal. I'm not sure who it's going to be. Could be Miretti, could be Nicolosi, could be Junior, because they've been linked with every single deal out there. It
yeah,
could be anyone else, but I don't think we're going to pay 35 cash straight. I don't think that's what we need. But we need the player. That's the most
yeah,
important thing, because at the end of the day, if Motta comes in, you need to back him, and he is a player that's kind of vital for him. And even if you look at our
yeah,
back line, we need a player who, one, is good defensively. That's still the key one, but two, just like I was watching during my break. I was watching a video. I want to shout out the person on YouTube, but I forgot the name of the channel, and he was going through center back play, in different leagues, and he was in he went from the Premier League, skipped that, and he went to um, Serie A, and he was talking about Inter. He was showing Bastoni and the way they play, and then he flipped to Juve, and he was like, yeah, it's not good. That's how we started the segment, and then he was, highlighting how we struggle to actually move the ball when opponents pressed Locatelli, and more was asked from the center backs. It was a disaster, because you had
yeah,
Gatti, who could drive the ball, but he couldn't pass. You have Bremer, who um, can only play it short, extremely short, and you have Danilo, who had some moments here and there, but also some complete disaster moments here or there,
yeah,
and puts us in a very difficult spot, because even if you take Locatelli out of that game, then you have McKennie, who also struggles in possession, and you have Rabiot, who just had a poor season as well. You need to have somebody who's just half decent on the ball. We don't have even half decent on the ball. Like, all of our center backs are poor in possession, like really, really poor, So we need him. At some point, you need to sign him. He was expecting it before the Euros. I wasn't expecting
yeah,
that, but I was expecting something more like solid. Not like, maybe not a here we go, but like, yeah, this is the price range. It will kind of figure it out after Euros. The fact that it's not happening, it's not worrying, but it's like
annoying.
annoying. Yeah, it needs to be done. Like, it needs to be, how do you want to say it? Like, fake official sooner, if that's what you
Yeah.
want to call it.
So yeah, we need a Romano. Here we go soon enough. So yeah, Califiori is essential for many reasons. So one is that he can tell the other guys like better maybe than Motta how to play, or he can help Motta, bring in this new concept. I think it's really important. So one Bologna player certainly helps a lot. Um, the other thing is, I think he would be perfectly matched with Bremer, because Bremer would stay in the back, and Califiori can go forward with the ball if he wants, or he can just
Yeah,
push forward how he did at Bologna. As the second one, and the third is that he's actually really good. Even if we take out the tactics or whatever, he's just good. He's good in the back. He's good with the ball. He's good with passing. So yeah, he's a really good. I really like him. So we need him. We need him as fast as possible.
you need that's one, like, that's probably the number one target for this summer, besides quote miners or whatever in the midfield.
Yeah,
Worst case scenario is Bastoni gets hurt and Calafiori gets to start for Italy and they do well. Yeah, but I don't think the price is gonna skyrocket, because again, if he wants Juve, it is what it is. Bologna will need to
yeah,
deal with it. Like they just need to find a way to deal with it. Calafiori is a must sign for me. I think we will have to give up Douglas Luiz or Colt Miner so we can fund the move for Calafiori. I don't believe so. I still think it's one between Douglas Luiz or Colt Miners. I get it, but I don't think the Calafiori one is that. And more teams will come in for Calafiori, but I don't think Italian teams. And if there are Italian teams, he's gonna pick Juve because of Motta, you know. So at the end,
Yeah.
like it all depend on him, you know. It will all depend on him. It will all depend on if he pushes for that move, you know, and then the price goes
Yeah, how
goes down.
hard he's actually pushing it.
It's
Yeah.
like Locatelli. Like he was willing to
Yeah.
wait until August 30, you know, for that move. It kind of forced Sassuolo to, I don't know, structure a weird deal where it's like €1 and whatever, and then if he plays a game in 24 or was it 23, we need to pay him €1 on the next. Like it was a weird structured deal, you know.
Yeah.
But that was all about Locatelli pushing for that move because he could have joined Arsenal. Like and
We
kind of
paid way
already
too
said it.
much for Locatelli.
We did,
We
but
paid.
they had
Oh my
better
God.
options. Like they had more money on the table
Yeah.
from Arsenal, and they wanted that move to Arsenal. You know, Sassuolo, but Locatelli said, "I'm not going." So figure it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the story. That's kind of the story. So we did pay. Like overpaying. Like you overpay for every single player. At this moment in
Yeah.
time, like when was the last time we signed a player and you're like, yeah, that was worth the money?
Yeah, especially in Italy, they make us overpay.
But just in general, like I cannot recall the last player we signed and I was like, yeah, that was worth the money, 100%. You know, who are the latest signings? You know, Locatelli, like Wea, like Vlahovic, Cambiaso, maybe. I'm gonna say yes. You know, that was probably worth the money.
Yeah, 10 million or something.
Yeah,
10,
like
8.
Cambiaso. I think Cambiaso. That's the one
Check.
that's coming to mind right now. Other than that, I struggle to find a name where I'm like, yeah, that was worth the money.
Oh,
Now low or high. So
Cambiaso was 13 actually.
yeah, that's
13.3.
that's cheap. Like that's cheap. That
Yeah.
definitely worth the money. You know, right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you are overpaying. Like you are overpaying. And we didn't think he was good at the time. I get it, but like 2 years now since we signed him, 2.5 or whatever, he's worth it, you know. But with the other players like Vlahovic, no. Like I like Vlahovic, but no, like we overpaid. It wasn't worth it. Locatelli, same thing. Maybe Bremer, but then again, he had a very off season and he had a good season now. So I need to see a second season or the third season where I'm like, okay, because it's a lot of money for Bremer. Definitely based on this season, you can say it's worth it. But still, like the first season, I cannot unwatch or unsee. You know, I saw that first
Yeah.
season and he struggled big time. So, yeah, Zakaria. Oh my God. Those were horrible deals. Diallo, 3.5. Yeah, and he played 3.5 minutes as well. So, no. So we are gonna overpay. What I don't want to do is like going crazy over the odds again. Like you are gonna overpay for Colt Miners. Like 60 million is over the odds for me. You know, if Premier League clubs want to pay that, whatever. But for me, it's not worth 60 million. If you pay something around 50, you overpaid again for Colt Miners. You know, you did. In my opinion, you know, you overpaid if it's around 50, but it's more reasonable rather than like spending 60 million on Colt Miners or any player out there right now. So we'll see. But the Calafiori story, I think it's completely made up at this moment in time. So Kamaka is far better than Holda played than Vlahovic. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're bringing that up, but okay. Barzagli, yeah, we're going back in time. Forget about that right now. Let's move on. Let's move on to another story that's kind of pissed me off. And not that I really believe it, but just the fact that the media have the audacity to actually link us with Morata again. I don't care because the story is that he's waiting and he's willing to lower his wage to join us again. I don't care if he's willing to play for free, you know, for this club again. If I need to see Morata wear a Juve jersey one more time, I will actually lose it. You know, it's like that's the ultimate, like that's the ultimate, um, like whatever type of signing. You know, was it 3 times we already tried to sign him? Like he had a
Yeah,
like Morata is Morata. Even as a backup, I don't want to see him as a backup. I want to see a player with different, like with more, gives us more options. Excuse me, even off the bench. With Morata, it's he will have a good period where you score goals, and then he will die. Then he will
yeah,
just disappear. Same for Atletico. Hot streak, then one game in 20 games or something. That's who he is. That's who we will always be. Period. Even coming from off the bench, I don't want to see him wear that jersey anymore. Like it's done.
yeah,
And when Juntili came in, I was actually praying that even these links would die. But for some reason, even the links are out there, you know? And that's frustrating me because I don't want, like, even though I don't believe it, the fact that it's out there, I like, there is a chance that potentially it could happen. Like, I'd rather keep
yeah.
Milik. I'd rather keep Milik. I'd rather do, because Milik's contract, I don't know when it's due, but you can move on Milik. You cannot move out Morata one more time. Like nobody's gonna take him on. You can move out Milik to a lower level club and he will take it.
Maybe next year.
Morata, no. Also on top of that,
Yeah,
Morata's 31 or whatever. What is he? 32, 33. Every time he has a
something
bad
like that.
patch, like it feels like he needs, you know, like support. Like he needs a support group. I'm done with those type of players. We don't need these type of
Yeah.
players. I'd rather keep Milik and let it go. I rather like I'm that serious right now because it's a waste of
So
energy
it's really
again
dividing.
and a transfer fee.
Yeah, exactly. It's really dividing the Juve fans, because some of them really like that he loves Juve and his family loves Juve and whatnot. But I'm with you, man. I don't want again. Like, let's do something new. It's a refresh, restart. Let's do it. Let's do it for real, And also, like this year, he scored 3 goals, like in January, in March, and in May. Um, this calendar year, yeah. And
Yeah,
before that, he scored like 21 or something. But like, come on, this is. I don't care if he scored 21 before. Why didn't he score another 21? Like, um, yeah, we need something new. I really don't want him. Um, Milik only injured for a month, so we don't need to panic. And I just don't see this link to be true. To be honest, I don't think June Tolly would want this.
I don't. The way he's moving, and really quickly, because Romano said exclusive Chesney story when the story was kind of out there 3 hours ago by
Yeah,
the Athletic, which is kind of hilarious. But
yeah,
let's say exclusive that Chesney is open to accept that Al Nassr bid. I think
20
it is
mil,
20
20
million.
mil.
Yeah, like I don't need to. I don't need to think about it. I'll sign that paper for 20 million, 2 years, 40 million. I'll do that. Um,
Yeah,
but like that move gives me a little bit hope that the Morata thing is completely BS. You know, that's not even a possibility for this club because if I asked anyone in the chat after the Coppa Italia game, the day after the Coppa Italia game, I was no, let's say at the start of May. Let's say at the start of May, if I would tell anyone at the start of May that just before the Euros, um, we're gonna get a transfer fee for Chesney and he's going to the Saudi league. How many of you would have called me crazy? I would have called myself crazy because I like again the wages are insane. You know, they are insane. And actually, I don't like there were links with Karniseki and I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, it is what it is, I guess. But the fact that Juntuli told Chesney a couple of weeks ago, probably, you need to leave, basically. You just need to leave because I'm going to sign a new number one. You're not going to play. Even if you say you're not going to be the number one, it's not going to happen. And the fact that Chesney's like, okay, I'll accept that right now and I'll get a move, it's kind of crazy. And maybe it's something we were all asking for. Not me in terms of with Chesney, but in general to be clear, you know, from day one. What I didn't like
yeah,
last summer is what happened with McKennie. He needed to train with the players that needed to leave, and then a day
Yeah.
later he's like, "No, get on the plane. You're coming to the US on tour." That was weird. That was very weird. That felt like somebody like a club that has no clue what to do. Now it feels like the club has actually a clue what they're doing. If it's good or bad, only time will tell. You know, Di Gregorio can come in and flop completely. I don't know. Like I don't have an idea about that. We never know. But the plan is extremely clear. The plan was I'm gonna sack Allegri, I'm gonna bring in my guy, and I'm gonna back my guy. Meaning I'm
Yeah.
gonna sign a new goalkeeper, and my my current number one choice, who is actually pretty okay, I'm gonna kick him out. I'm gonna tell him leave. I was not expecting that. In May, I wasn't. Like I wasn't, and here we're sitting here, and Chesney is gone. He's gone.
Yeah, it means that he has a plan and he wants to execute it and finally move forward. And that just makes too much money. And we also want to lower the wage bill, and this would definitely help. That 6.5 mil that he's on net is way too much. Yeah, if he makes that money, I'm happy for him. 20 mil, I would accept it in a second. Ronaldo is there, lots of other players, good players are there, so it's not like he will be alone. Mm, So yeah, I think he should take it for him, for us, for everyone. Let's hope Saudi will pay us some money between, I don't know, 5 and 10. I would be happy.
Yeah, the fact that
Let's move.
the fact that um, the fact that he's managed to move on. Chesney was adamant that he was not going to leave. He was on big money, like you said,
Yeah,
And this is not like this is not. I don't think this is more about quality. I don't think Juntil is like, oh, you're a rubbish goalkeeper. I don't think that's the situation. I think he talked with Motta, and Motta's like, I need a different type of goalkeeper, and
yeah,
Juntil is saying, okay, I'm gonna back you, and for some reason he convinced Chesney to actually leave, like because Chelsea could have said, "Nah, I'm gonna sit here for one more season and I'm gonna see it out. 7 million, even if you bench me, whatever. I'm gonna see it out. 7 million, and you guys figure it out." He could have done that. For some reason, he convinced Chesney to not do that, basically, and to leave. I think even for Chesney, it's kind of like, and maybe we don't know much. Maybe Chesney knew for months or so that this was a very big possibility. Maybe
yeah,
Juntili told him like, you better find a new club because we're gonna move on from you. But the fact that the fact that it's a clear direction now, it's positive. If the
yeah.
direction is good, nobody knows. Like this can completely flop. This can be a great success, but at least the direction is clear. The last couple of years there was no direction, like whatsoever, like nothing. Like we had different sporting directors, different board members. We had Arriva Bene speaking about players openly, talking about we don't need that player, and I'm like, oh boy, like you're not gonna get a single penny for certain players if you talk like that. Even if Chesney were
Wow.
to leave, if I told you in May Chesney's leaving and actually we're getting a transfer fee, I think a lot of you would also say that's not possible. It's not possible, not because he's a bad goalkeeper, but purely because he's on 7 million euros, which is, like you said, a lot of money that the club needed to, or that Juntuli needed to figure out. 1 year left on this deal. Do you want to do a deal with him? Is he willing to accept 4 or something? Probably not, I guess. To stay at Juve at that moment in time. Again, like talking about it,
Wait,
it's actually insane that Juntuli managed to do that because I did
yeah,
not see
because
this coming.
the first idea was to spread his salary and
Yeah.
make the contract longer, right? And he declined that. So yeah, I'm sorry. He was the best goalkeeper last year by like officially. He got the award. I mean, Di Gregorio. Sorry, Di Gregorio. And he's good with his feet, and that's what we need with Motta. So sorry, Tech is old. His contract is up next year. He would not renew. So what's the point keeping him? It's completely silly. Looking at the chat.
We should
So yeah,
we should acknowledge that Chesney, like, yeah, like
he's
Chesney,
good.
yeah, it's good. We could have done a very weird thing. He's kind of booted to the side, to the curve. That's what kind of is happening at this moment in time.
Yeah, but they wanted to renew him for, because obviously economically it doesn't worth it for us to have a goalkeeper for six
No,
and a half.
I
So,
agree.
and he said no. So this is your life, like you say no for a extension, then you leave.
Yeah. And people are saying goalkeeper is the least of our worries. I see the point because I was of the same opinion. But if Chesney told you, I'm not gonna lower my demands, he's transfer fee next season. He's free. You needed to make a decision.
Yeah,
You needed to make a decision, and this was the best decision. It's as
yeah,
simple as that. You get his wage off the books, somehow potentially get a transfer fee. You don't need to haggle on can you play for this next season for that amount of money. You have a new goalkeeper, relatively cheap in transfer fee and wages, and you keep it moving. Like that decision, if it wasn't gonna happen now, it was gonna happen next summer, and it could have been like it could have been more messy, in terms of agreeing, going from
yeah,
seven to potentially four or whatever, So I can see why. Uh, I agree. I can see why they're trying to do that. I can see it, but again, it's not that it was an issue in terms of quality in that position. Like that was never that was not the issue. It wasn't the issue. It's not.
yeah,
It was not that Chesney is a poor goalkeeper. Actually, it's still
yeah.
for me. He's still
Yeah,
top goalie.
he's really stable. He had like one mistake every season, and that's it
Yeah, for me, he's a top goalie
usually.
still. So, and people
Yeah.
hit the like button. We only have 19 likes, which is kind of sad. So, also 19, I don't like that
Wow.
number anymore. So, hit the like button now and subscribe to the channel. Um, so, we had that. We had that part. Julian asked, talk about Sancho. So, we will talk about Sancho. And he's saying,
BBC.
for those who think we are using part of our transfer budget on a goalkeeper, you're wrong. We're actually gaining money with this deal. Yeah, and the money we need to
Yeah.
pay Monza is not for this season. It's for the
Yeah.
following season. So that was one of my worries, which kind of disappeared right now, or like is off the table. So that's um, it's good. But
Yeah,
Sancho,
because
no, you go.
sorry, I just want to talk about really shortly about how this works, because Hanin says that we're gonna gain money, but it might be not be clear. So how it works is that we sign him for 20, let's say, and it's a 4-year contract. So in the books, the first year, which is not even this year because he's gonna be on loan, it's only next season. So next season is going to be like 5 mil in the books if we sign him. And if we get rid of Tech, we gain his salary, which is 6.5 plus plus all the transfer. I don't know how much is that, 5 mil or whatever. So yeah, definitely worth it.
That's how the club is operating right now. To be honest,
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
smart.
Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Julian. Julian asked talk about Jadon Sancho. So the news is from BBC Sports. So take that with a pinch of not a pinch, a scoop of salt. I'm gonna say, but apparently we are one of the teams in for Jadon Sancho. He is rumored to be on the market for 40 million euros. I don't think we're gonna pay that. I don't think Dortmund are gonna pay that. I don't think anyone is gonna pay that. So that's that already. But Jadon Sancho is out there. The links are out there. Um, the price is insane, obviously, because of what
Yeah,
happened the last 2 years with him. I still think he is a talented player. I think he just needs to find a stable environment,
yeah,
with a
and the right
coach,
coach. Yeah,
who believes in him, excuse
yeah,
me, and gets the best out of him because like he's a player that I don't think like he's still young. Like he still has quality. I've watched quite enough Dortmund this season, because they play at a respectable hour on a Saturday. So I have it on, and he is a player. Like technically, he is who he is. Period. But like he needs continuity. Like he needs to be in a stable environment because at times he plays at an extremely high level. And then he can just play at a very normal level. Like there's too much of a drop off between certain games.
yeah,
Um, but that's what I said a couple of weeks ago when, or like a couple of days ago when all the Chiesa talk came out and this and that, and I was like, fine, Sule out, Chiesa out, Junior out, but who the hell are we signing at this moment in time? So I'm not saying it's Jadon Sancho, but if it's one of the options, I'm willing to consider it. And why? Again, if you move on Chiesa, the way, and again, Jadon Sancho's wages are insane. But I think even he knows that he's not gonna command that anywhere else. Like he's not gonna get that. If he leaves Manu, he's not gonna get that money.
Mm.
So that's that. And I'm not saying I want Sancho. I'm not saying that. You know, but I've always liked Sancho. So you go on
So
on.
we have an issue with that. Sorry, that he's English and non-EU, right? So I don't think like we can get two this year, and Adzic is one of them, who we signed last year, the 18-year-old Montenegroian dude, and we can sign another one. So is it Douglas Luiz? Is it Sancho? Is it it can be an issue.
It could be an issue. It could be an issue, or the club can do something sneaky, and
Yeah,
I don't know, sign us or loan him out, and let him, sign for the other club. Like you can work around that, if you really, really want, if you actually think, okay, we need Douglas Luiz and Sancho, they will figure a way out to get around that rule. We did that in the past. Many clubs did in the past. But it depends also on how I think you're gonna put Atzik into the structure. If you're gonna sign him for the first team, I don't exactly
I don't
know
know how
how that
does that work.
works.
Yeah,
Maybe you can sign him for the next gen, but he cannot. He's not allowed to play for the first team. I don't know how that works. Like
yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah,
Because I know they have a separate budget. The next gen and
yeah.
the first team. But at one point, I also saw a story that despite having a separate budget, the players are listed as like on the first team, which is like I don't know the structure.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's like a two-way contract in the NHL or in the NBA where they can play both. But yeah, I don't know exactly.
We will see. We will see how that will go. But just Sancho on a technical level, uh, he's not like at least he's not Berardi or Zaniolo, one of those links. That's I think the good news because I don't want to see these players at the club. But that's finally a link, I might say. All the talks
Yeah,
about Chiesa leaving and Sule leaving, but there's actually no talk about who is actually coming in and replacing it, which is so strange. But it's out there, and you need to deal with it. And the stories don't add up. Today there was an update from I think it was Mirko Di Natale about Chiesa. That talks, will pick up this week, and I'm like, man, the Euros around the corner. Like this is a weird situation. I think it's done. I think it's done. For Chiesa. I don't think he's gonna stay. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 1 year extension, but right now I'm like, it's the Euros. Like when the Euros is over, it's training camp. Like you need to make that decision really quick. Rabiot
July
again.
already.
Rabiot again. It
Yeah,
needs to happen this week. If not, then man, like it's banter. Like it really is banter. Like that's like if you need to wait on Rabiot for post
what, a
Euros,
month?
that's insane.
Yeah,
That's insane. That's just crazy. More crazy than actually people saying he's the best midfielder in the world. You know like
I've seen that.
that's not serious right now, and actually this disrespectful towards the club and its history. Like it
Yes.
really is. Like I'm sorry. If you want to wait on a player like Rabiot, for months, like I don't like that. If Juntili does that, I kind of lose a bit of respect for him. I do because you're not
Yeah.
dealing with Pogba or Pirlo or Marquisio. Like you're not dealing with one or even Vidal. You're not dealing with those level of players. Like 8 million is insane. Barella is on less. I don't give me that. Oh, net for the club is less. Agents do not care. Agents do not care if the club is paying 8.5 for Rabiot or five and a
Yeah.
half net. They don't
Yeah.
they don't give a shit. If they have a player and they think they're better, they're like, we want 8 net for my guy. I don't care if
Yeah.
you need to pay 5.5 net or 16.5 net to give my player 8.5. We want 8.5. That's my point. Rabiot is not worth that money. Even if you need to pay 1 million euro, he's not worth that money. Like the wage balance is all over the place at that point. It really is. He's not worth that money.
Yeah, and but also we don't know what's happening in the background. Maybe Juntali just wanted to give him, I don't know, 2 weeks so he can also operate on other things or other players he wants to sign, and he just wants to put it in the back of his mind or something for a little bit. But like, if it's true that he wants eight, that's insane for a player like him. Even if Motta wants him, I don't care. That's way too much.
It is too much.
Yeah, if it would be like five, I would say okay, but like seven is pushing it, and eight is crazy.
You're being nice. It is insane. Like,
Yeah,
it's mental. Like, it's actually
yeah.
mental. He's gonna be okay, Vlahovic, but like, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, how are you gonna explain to, let's say, next season you have more of a budget and you are potentially competing again, and you want to sign, I don't know, who's the next big thing midfielder that's coming through, um, whatever. But you know what the situation, like, you know what I mean, like the next big thing. And he has offers
Yeah.
from other clubs, and you're like, nah, you're still a bit unproven. So here we go, 3.5. Those agents are gonna look at it. They're like, man, Rabiot's on 8, 3.5. No way. Like, I'm actually confused. Like, I'm still like, I'm so baffled that we signed Cambiasso on 2.2. I think he could have asked for more, even if it's off the back of a couple of months. He could have asked for more. He could.
So yeah, I think Rabiot is just with the thing with him is that Juntoli knows that he has no other offers, and probably he doesn't have any other offers, especially in this range. And he's maybe saying to him, "Listen, there's not gonna be anything. Five, let's sign it. Five, let's sign it, or whatever the number is. Something lower than seven." And I don't know. Hopefully soon it will end, because this feels really stupid waiting for a player who's not even that good,
No,
even if Motta wants him.
he's nothing special. Like, he's definitely nothing
Yeah.
special. But yeah, man. That's it for Juve, really quickly. Let's do the last 10 minutes talking about the Euros a little bit, because it
Hmm.
starts on not Saturday, Friday. Excuse me, Friday. Um, I think it's Germany, Scotland. Pretty sure it's Germany,
Yes.
Scotland. So that's the
Yes.
first game. Not gonna ask you about that game really much, but what do you think? Who's gonna win it? Who's gonna surprise Europe or the world? Because I think I don't think it's gonna be a high level tournament, quality wise. That's my first takeaway. I don't think it's gonna be high level football.
Isn't it more teams now than ever?
Yeah, but it's not
Four or
even
five?
yeah, it's not even about that, by the way. Like, it's not just in general. I don't think it's gonna be a high level football. For some reason, I have that feeling.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion about that. I just want to watch, and I don't know. But yeah, I think France obviously is really good. Germany, because they are home, but otherwise, Negasman might do something with them. Um, England, I would say, but I have no trust that they're gonna win, and I don't want them to win. So that's that. And I think Hungary will be the surprise.
Let me
Um,
let me bring up the groups really quickly. Because
so
I
yeah, A
let me
A
wait.
A group is the one with Germany, Scotland, Switzerland, and Hungary.
Yeah, I know that because I checked today. Then it's Albania, Croatia, Italy, Spain, Denmark, England, Serbia, Slovenia, Austria, France, Netherlands, Poland, Belgium, Romania, Slovakia, Ukraine, Turkey, Czech Republic, Portugal, Georgia. But the number three can go through as well, like four number threes.
Four, yeah, yeah, four
Okay.
number, yeah,
Actually, I applied for tickets for to watch games in Düsseldorf, which is like an hour drive, or Cologne,
yeah.
which is also like 45 minutes drive.
I
Nothing.
live next to those cities
It's a
in
it's
Germany.
it's a list of 1 million people waiting. I actually could have gotten tickets for Belgium
Wow.
against Romania, but that game is in Stuttgart, and I'm not driving to Stuttgart. I'm not gonna do that. That's a bit too much.
That's what, 4 hours from you or something?
I didn't even check. It's far away. I know. I know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that to watch Belgium play Romania. I
yeah.
I'd apply for every single game. Like I didn't matter, who it was, but I was not gonna do that. But yeah, for me, I still think Portugal. I have a good chance. I really do,
Mm.
because they have a good team and they really have a good team, really, But then again, it's a weird team with Portugal. Every time I think they have a good team, they kind of disappoint. But they have a good team. I think Austria are gonna do. They're not gonna win it, But I think they can do damage to teams, and people are not really paying attention to them. In my opinion, with France, it's just France. Like they have so much quality that even if they play
Yeah,
poor, they just have too much quality. Like they can win a
yeah,
game out of nowhere. They can win out of nowhere. Um, Other than that, like the frustrating part as well, it's like 3 o'clock games. Why? I know people across Europe are like, this is good, but like for us in Europe, because it's Euros, like 3 o'clock is it's weird. Like everybody's at work.
yeah.
Like it's strange.
The latest game. What is the latest game? When is
It's
it?
it's
At
three,
8?
6, and 9. Yeah, okay, for you potentially. It's 3, 6, and 9.
They could have pushed it 1 hour, no?
At least 1 hour. Like 3 o'clock, it's
Yeah,
like everybody's at work. Like everybody. 4 o'clock,
yeah,
more like quite a few people are back home from work. But
yeah. And
three
I'm
o'clock,
I'm
it's
1 hour later, but still it cuts like over an hour for me off from work. But it's fine. I just watch it on my laptop.
yeah, it's weird. Like the timing is very weird. Um, but Italy,
Yeah,
because there's still a Juve channel, so there's a connection to Italy. They play, I think, Albania Saturday, late kickoff. Um, they have a tough
yeah.
group, man. They do have a tough group.
Yes,
I didn't watch the preseason games of Italy. I didn't. I like, so I have no
I
clue.
did.
I just read stuff that yesterday was potentially a bit better.
Yeah,
But then again, I saw the lineup and I was like, that lineup is probably not going to be picked for the first game. He's not going to play Calafiori and Fajor. Like, he's not going to do that. So it's back
yeah,
to what was the previous game against who? Was it Turkey? Um, so it's probably going to be that type of performance again. But they play Albania, who they should be beaten. Uh, it's not going
yeah.
to be easy. It's not going to be a cakewalk. But you better win that first game because the next two games, well, it's Croatia and Spain. So if you don't beat Albania, you're kind of screwed already.
Yeah, they got lucky with getting the first game against Albania because they have a chance now to start the Euros with a positive note and give themselves a chance to go through. And even with a win and 2 draws, probably they would go through. So
Yeah, they need to find a way to beat Albania. Definitely. I'm gonna watch the games. Obviously, I don't like when it's qualifiers and preseason and Nations League. I don't really care, which is ironic because I bought tickets for Belgium against Italy for the Nations League, but that's just purely based. I want to watch the individuals live playing for Juve. But I hope they win. Like I hope they win. I really hope they win. And I'm gonna watch that games hoping they win, especially for players like players like Chiesa, and even Gatti and Cambiasso. I hope they win as much as possible, but I don't think they have I can see them going through the group even as third place, but then it's done.
hardly, yeah.
Then it's done.
It's just Spalletti and this team is. I don't
It's too
think
soon.
it's
It's too
working.
soon. I think it's too soon
Yeah, yeah,
already. And then
yeah,
certain call ups are also very strange. I think it's too soon. It's not
yeah. The
Spalletti's
squad
fault.
is bad. Yeah.
I think it's more so building towards World Cup, 26. I think it's like that's the
Mm.
vibe I'm getting from this a little bit, But we will see. We will see. It's good, that we don't need to, like, it's transfer season, but still, there's actually some football on. Relax, chill,
Yeah.
watch some games, and
And also Copa America from 20th of June. It's
I'm,
just too late, man.
I'm not gonna
The
say
games are too late.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say like that's just UFC with a ball. Like that's like I stay awake for the last time. Everybody thinks it's high level football. It's not. Like it's not high level
yeah.
football. It's just like it's
Especially
crazy.
teams like Venezuela and Bolivia and all these
It's
teams.
crazy. It's just kicking each other. Like I watched highlights of um, Venezuela against Argentina. I think it was like I watched extended highlights at work. That was
Mm.
insane. Like that was insane. That was not football. I thought they were gonna kill each other at one point. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna watch that. No, especially not waking up midnight to watch. 11 people beat each other up because the football is not good. It's not good.
Yeah. There are two news, by the way. One is Euro. Frankie De Jong is missing the Euros, and the other one is Romano saying about Juventus and Villa, about Aston Villa, about
Let me
Douglas
see.
Luiz, and
Uh, Frankie de Jong is out. Damn,
yeah,
that's weird. Juve and Aston Villa spoke again today about Douglas Luiz with players included. Junior has been discussed an option, as reported today, with Weston McKennie 2 plus cash. The only way to make it happen remains include players. He said that an hour ago as
yeah,
well. No?
yes, he did.
So no
Maybe
news.
not an hour, but
Yeah, there's no news.
I,
Like, it's
so
just
what is he doing? Is he just pushing the news more, or
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. It's just the same tweet, just put in a different wording. So yeah, no news on that as well at this moment in time. It's just wait and see. Um, but yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up, people. I will be live on Wednesday with Steve. I will be live most likely on Friday, and I probably will be live on Sunday as well this week. So stay tuned for that because apparently we are gonna announce Thiago Motta this week, and then I will release a podcast. I talked to you
Mhm.
about. I recorded,
Yeah,
was it last week, which kind of be outdated a little bit because we talked about Chesney and Zirkzee, but the points still stand. No matter where these players are going, the points we discussed still stand. But I will release at the moment Thiago Motta gets announced. It's a good one because it's more of other people speaking and not me, so it's probably better for the best. But it's a good insight on Thiago Motta and what we potentially could be doing in the new upcoming season. But people, thanks for coming on. Like the video if you haven't liked the video. Subscribe to the channel as always. Norbert, thanks for joining. Hopefully we have something real to talk about
yeah.
next time you come on. Maybe Sunday. I need to see what type of show I have planned. But yeah, that's it for me, people. Thanks for watching and have a good